Live. First time I've been live in a little while. Need to get some bodies in here, so I'm gonna let some people come along before we get talking about the fight. Let's see. You gotta put the volume down, otherwise I'm gonna get copyright strikes. It's going alright, so some people are starting to come in now. Basically, this is just going to be a little pre-fight live chat. Going to have a little discussion with you guys about the Anthony Joshua fight that's about to come on. Obviously, this is a very key and important fight in terms of his legacy and everything that he's doing and is trying to achieve in the game. I think it's very important for Anthony Joshua and his career. Yo, Bradford Lad, what's going on, my brother? I thought this is going to be a good opportunity for us to catch up about the Anthony Joshua Andy Ruiz fight and definitely talk about some of the importance of this fight, because this fight is massive beyond a British fight fan's perspective. Well, firstly, there's 4 world titles on the line. That's big. Secondly, it's a historical fight, and you got to think back to the Mike Tyson fight when he lost to Buster Douglas. He never had the opportunity to try and get the redemption that Anthony Joshua is trying to get tonight, and because he never had the opportunity to get the redemption, his story has been told in a certain way. Anthony Joshua is very important for Anthony Joshua to win tonight. There's a couple of key things to consider in terms of the background as well with what's going on. Firstly, Andy Ruiz has come in this fight weighing more than he's ever weighed in his entire career, which is it's disappointing. And if I'm honest with you, how do you see it going? Can't look past Ruiz with the weight difference. You know what, mate? The thing with this fight is, so I originally picked Andy Ruiz, and actually I'm going to stay with that. I'm going to stay with that prediction because I felt like Andy Ruiz is a stylistically poor matchup for Anthony Joshua, probably because he's that smaller guy, and the smaller boxers, especially when there's that big gap, it's counterintuitive. But actually, being smaller than a heavyweight, than a guy like Joshua who's so big, can actually work out to your favor because it's easier to duck, dive, bob, weave punches and get out of the way of danger. That's the first thing. Secondly, Andy Ruiz seems to be all wrong for Joshua. Andy Ruiz moves really well. On his feet, not so much, but in terms of avoiding punches with his head movement, he's really good, and he's got really good hand speed. So I think Andy Ruiz carries a lot of problems for Joshua in this fight. I'm hoping that Anthony Joshua's, and I'm going to get to all your comments. I'm just responding to Bradford Lad's comment. I'm hoping that Anthony Joshua, and it looks like he's made the changes in his physique that will represent a change in his game plan and the way he's looking to fight. But it's also important to remember that there was a vast difference between the two in that it wasn't a lucky punch that landed. Andy Ruiz caused him a lot of problem for a lot of time, and that's very key to remember in this one. So I'm still picking Andy Ruiz to get the win over Joshua, but that's with no level of certainty, especially because it looks like Andy Ruiz let himself go. Now that might be a good thing, but that's something that you guys got to consider. Tab Chan, Joshua wins. I know why a lot of people are thinking that, but I'm not so certain that he does win. I would love to know your reason. I'm thinking Chinese fighter wins. You got to tell me, are you actually Chinese? Because sometimes you just put some funny comments there, and I'm not convinced you're Chinese, bro. Mauricio Vasquez. Mauricio, what's going on, my brother? Nice to see you about. I'll be shipping out your mug next weekend, by the way. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So hype for this one, bro. Being from Mexican descent, I have to vote for Andy. First ever Mexican heavyweight champion is a big deal for the culture, but I don't want to count out Joshua. I hope it's a war. Yeah, you know what? It's definitely huge for the Mexican culture. Mexican culture is so rich, so beautiful when it comes to combat sports. You Mexicans are honestly, truly warriors. Some of the best boxers of all time. All Mexican. The background. When you're talking about some of the greatest boxers to ever live, talking Marco Antonio Barrera, Julio Cesar Chavez, senior, not junior so much, Canelo Alvarez in this day and age. Mexicans, you have a rich and long history of combat sports. It's not just boxing, even lucha libre, and I know a lot of people equate lucha libre to like professional wrestling. That's not necessarily true. And of course, you guys have a rich culture in professional wrestling as well, which is not to be disrespected. Professional wrestling has been very instrumental in the growth of mixed martial arts. So yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of Andy Ruiz as well. I'm a huge fan for what he's done, and actually really looking forward to this fight. Andy Ruiz is a guy who's been on my radar for a long time from when he first fought Joseph Parker. Actually, I was hoping to see Andy Ruiz get matched up with Tyrone Spong, but a whole heap of shit happened, and then a better opportunity materialized for Andy Ruiz in the Joshua fight. But the Andy Ruiz Tyrone Spong fight for me was appealing because at the time Andy Ruiz was trying to rebuild himself. Tyrone Spong was a WBC Latino heavyweight champion. That would have been a great fight, but then this happened. A lot of big stuff here. Russell Rusty, what's going on, brother? Nice to see you back. Ain't seen you in a long time. Hope you're all right. Heard some disturbing things about you today. I'd love to know what you heard about me. I'd love to know where you heard it. If there's a YouTube beef going on with me, I'll be interested, but I can't see why. That'll be an interesting one. I actually hope Ruiz wins because I think he will definitely fight Fury Wilder, and I think if AJ wins, he will probably go back to fighting bums. It's hard to disagree with that because the Wilder fight didn't happen. The Fury fight didn't ever seem to be happening, and that's really disappointing. In that sense, even like yourself, obviously, me and you, Bradford lad, we're British fans, and whilst we're huge fans of Anthony Joshua, well, speaking for myself, I'm a huge fan of Anthony Joshua in a lot of ways. I am. I'm actually in agreement that I would like to see Andy Ruiz match up with those guys because then we can see that unified heavyweight champion, that undisputed heavyweight champion that the division needs. We need an undisputed heavyweight championship. We don't need multiple guys just about here not fighting the best guys. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm hoping to see the Fury Wilder rematch. Fury should win that fight. If Fury beats Wilder, then he can go on to fight the winner of this fight, wrap up, have an undisputed champion by the end of the year. That would be amazing. I think Fury beats Andy Ruiz, and I think he beats Anthony Joshua. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that fight materializing. Hong Kong's Firist. I don't know what that means, Tab Chan, but I'm doubting you're from Hong Kong more and more that I read your comments. So yeah, I don't know what that's about. For those of you guys that ain't actually watching right now, Dylan White's fighting right now. Dylan White's fighting a guy called Marius Watch now. Marius Watch is a guy who's known to the hardcore boxing fans, and he's known as he's a fodder. He's a fodder. So a lot of the top name guys will fight guys like Marius Watch, and they'll fight them to build up. They'll fight them to build up their reputation and what's going on. But with Dylan White, where he's been out for a long time, he hasn't fought since his fight with Oscar Rivas, where I thought he looked pretty damn great. Then obviously the whole shady business happened with the drug test, and now he's taking his first fight back. He's looking in very poor shape. He's coming heavier than he's ever come in. Obviously, he hasn't had a long, ample time to prepare for this fight, and that's seeing him in this kind of shape and form is actually kind of disappointing for me. He ain't looking particularly sharp or crisp in that fight. It seems like Dylan White's been enjoying that Snickers lifestyle. Maybe Andy Ruiz has motivated him, and all the heavyweights just said, you know what? We're done with this. We're just gonna put on the weight, eat the Snickers, and it don't really matter. We're heavyweights, but this is not looking like Dylan White's finest performance. But hopefully, it helps him shake off the rust or whatever may be going on. Maybe the shady business. There is some questions to to this. Don't question my honor. No one's questioning your honor, Tab Chan. I'm just questioning the authenticity of your Shanghai roots. That's it. Russell Rusty. Why ate all the pies? Yeah, it seems like he ate all the pies, and he's been enjoying that good life when all that stuff happened with Oscar Rivas after when all that stuff happened with the steroid test. So it seems like he's been doing that. Do you watch any other sports other than combat sports? Yeah, I think Russell Rusty's got it there. Just combat sports, man. I'm a huge fan of combat sports. I watch more combat sports than one though. I watch MMA, boxing. I obviously follow kickboxing. That's when I'm a huge fan of Rico Hova, and I'm really looking forward to his fight with Bud Hari. Unless that's already happened, I've made a fool of myself. But I'm really looking forward to that. I actually even watch sumo sometimes. So my youngest brother, my younger brother, he got me into sumo, and it's actually pretty damn insane, man. You get all these like loads when you're looking at top caliber of sumo. You got loads of top caliber respected sumos, and then they'll pair them off over a 15-day period, and they'll alternate matches every single day. All of them fight each other. It's quite mad actually, but yeah, no, but combat sports is me. I'm not really into much else. I suppose when the World Cup's on, I might watch some football, but I'm not a huge fan of football. That's soccer for for the American fans out there. But other than that, what else? What maybe cricket if it's a World Cup match. Not really. I'm just not a huge fan of many sports outside of fighting. Me and my friend Casey we used to play. Shout out to Casey. We used to play cricket when we was younger, but all we used to do was plan ways that we could slyly win and trick people into thinking that we was opposing each other. So that's not that. No, Bradford Lad, why the fuck would he? That's a bit aggressive, bro. Rico gonna smoke Butter. I think, yeah, I think Rico's gonna smoke Butter. I think Butter's over the most recent years, he hasn't performed in any way, shape, or form that you would expect Butter to perform, especially considering where Butter's ranked and rated. I actually, it's a bit controversial, but I don't want to see Rico Verhoeven wasted anymore. I actually feel like he beats Badr Hari. There's no one else for him to fight in K1 Glory. Those days are gone. I want him to consider a move into something else and consider what else is next for Rico outside of this fight. Outside of Badr fight, I don't want to see him wasting time fighting the Bigfoot Silvers. Why would you do that? That's such a waste of Badr Hari's talents. It's ridiculous. He shouldn't be fighting that level of opposition. Badr Hari, Rico Verhoeven's a very, very talented fighter. I actually like to see him make a shift to either MMA or boxing. I think boxing would suit Rico Verhoeven a lot more. I actually done a video on kickboxers that I think would transition over well to boxing, and Rico Verhoeven's most certainly at the top of that list. I want to see him win this fight. I want to see him move on so we can see something else from Badr Hari, from Rico Verhoeven, and see what else he can achieve. Anybody know what time the fight starts in Florida time? I don't know how to pronounce your name. KVRSE, Converse. I think that's about right. My brother, I don't know what time it happens in Florida time, but here in the UK, it's currently coming on to 7 o'clock. The fight will start here about 9 o'clock. So in about 2 hours' time, roughly, you're going to be looking to see the Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz fight. I would say give it an hour and a half just to be safe. Watch the build up. You don't want to miss it, especially in these heavyweight fights. You want to enjoy the atmosphere. So definitely do that, bro. Bradford Lad, can't say I ever watched sumo. Do you watch much BJJ? If you do, what are your favorite rules? So I don't watch much BJJ, but this is actually something that I think I might be getting into soon, bro. So my father-in-law, he's like a 4th or 5th degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's really well respected in the community. Actually, he coaches classes in Hodger Gracie's academy, and he does he coaches classes in Hodger Gracie's academy. Actually, the first time I ever met him, I got invited around their house for dinner, and I had dinner with Hodger Gracie's dad, and we all sat around the table having dinner, which was it was a pretty cool experience, I would say. So with him, anytime I speak to him, he's always talking to me about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all the intricacies of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where he's such a well-respected coach. So I've been thinking about getting more into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I do need to start following it more. There's some guys that I like watching, like Gary Tonin. I'm a huge fan of Gary Tonin, and but I can't say I spend time watching BJJ. What team are you? I think AJ, Dylan White. Dylan White is rocked. Dylan White is getting rocked by Marius Watch. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Got completely distracted. What team are you? So it's hard to say because I like Anthony Joshua and I like to see him win so that the fight with Wilder can be revitalized. But on a personal level, I want to see Andy Ruiz win. So I'm on the back of Andy Ruiz to get the win on this one. Because I think he wins it anyway. I think stylistically he's a poor matchup for Anthony Joshua. And secondly, Bradford Ladd made the point earlier. He wants to see Andy Ruiz win because then it helps to see the bigger fights outside of the Anthony Joshua fight. You know, the Deontay Wilder fights, the Tyson Fury fights. We get to see those fights. It's more likely those fights happen. I would love to see that happen. So I'm rooting for Andy Ruiz to get the W here, and that's the team I'm on right now. But I say that very soft. I'm not strong on any teams because for me, ultimately, I'm rooting for heavyweight boxing. I want to see the best fights in heavyweight boxing that you can possibly see because I'm a huge boxing fan. I feel like over the last few years, the status of boxing's kind of plateaued and it hasn't really reached up to the level it can just because there's the fights are not being made. The Deontay Wilder AJ fight not being made. That's really irking on fans and it's irking on me. And I really hope we start to see the fights getting made. There's going to be a trilogy apparently. That wouldn't surprise me if there's a trilogy. If Anthony Joshua wins this fight, I think the trilogy is the right thing to do. That's the way to go. and I think it's the fight that fans will want to see, especially if this fight's as exciting as the last one. Let's say Anthony Joshua flips the script, it's a complete 180, and it's the same exact fight, but with Anthony Joshua walking out on top. There's no way that we wouldn't want to see a trilogy. That's such a fun fight, but it seems like Fat Dylan White is not doing too well right now, guys. So there's some stuff going on here. Can't see there being a trilogy of Ruiz wins again. No, there definitely won't be a trilogy of Ruiz wins again. If Ruiz wins again, there's no trilogy to be had. There's no need for a trilogy. He's 2-0. Got the finish on the first one. If he wins this fight, especially if he wins somewhat convincingly, I think we're happy to move on. I completely agree with you there, Bradford lad. I think that will be it at this stage. So yeah, I think Andy Ruiz wins this, and then we're done with this, and hopefully we get to see Andy Ruiz versus some of the other guys in the division, and that will be a lot of fun. So right now, guys, those of you guys ain't watching it, I am actually a little bit shocked because this fight started off really poorly, and actually still a poor performance. But Dylan White is having real trouble with Marius Watch, and this is just not the caliber of opposition that should be giving Dylan White trouble. I'm actually seeing Dylan White unfolding in front of me right now, and it's maybe I'm overestimating what's going on here, but it's not looking good. Fuck KJ, Fight Watch White is getting good. Yeah, I know. Boxing MMA 265. Firstly, what's going on, my brother? Let me know if it's Gary or Tom there. But yeah, this fight is getting all a bit mad right now. Dylan White's getting some serious chili sauce from a journeyman, a low-level journeyman at this stage of his career, and this is not what Dylan White should have been turning up for. Really, really poor performance. Can't be calling out Wilder with a performance like this. I really hope the judges won't rob Andy. I don't think that the judges won't. I don't think that it'll come to the judges, but I think even if it does, this is the thing with boxing. The fact that this is actually is a consideration with MMA as well. I have to be honest. Judges are corrupt. The sports can be corrupt. Money talks. I really hope that the judges don't rob Andy Ruiz as well. If it goes there, the right man should run. Chelson has made this point a couple of times, and this old saying that to beat the champion, you got to beat the champion. Bullshit. What does that even mean? To beat the champion, you got to beat. No, it's a fight. It's a fight with judges, and there's a standard rule set. The rules don't state that if you're the contender, you got to win more convincingly. No, that's made up. If you win the fight, you should win the fight. The right guy should always be given the nod, and I really hope that we have competent judges here to be able to get that done. Just got the pay-per-view, £25. What a rip-off. Tell me, brother, that stung right there. That stung right there, pressing the select button, that £25. But I couldn't miss this one. I woke up. I didn't order the last pay-per-view. I just woke up and I went to watch it because I didn't think it was going to be a competitive fight. I was so disappointed with myself for missing that. It was absolutely gutting, but yeah. Andy needs to knock out Joshua again, because if they go to, they're going to fix it. Well, you know what the thing about that is, bro? They can only fix it to a level. Like, let's say Andy Ruiz comes out there and completely dominates Anthony Joshua for 12 rounds. Not saying that's what's going to happen, but let's say he comes out there and dominates Anthony Joshua for 12 rounds. You can't fix a fight like that. Joshua's got to be in it for it to get robbed to a degree. You know what I mean? I don't think it will go to the judges, in my opinion. Okay. That notwithstanding, I am optimistic that the right thing should be done. And as a fan of boxing, I don't want boxing to let itself down with corruption tonight. I really don't, because this has the opportunity to revitalize boxing and bring in so many new fans. To see a robbery at this stage, I'll be bitterly disappointed. They're showing Usher on the TV. Not that anyone cares about Usher anymore. I certainly don't. But yeah, judges in boxing are way worse than in MMA. I present to you Fury versus Wilder. Yeah, that's very true. That was a prime example of corruption at its finest. I hated it. I hated seeing it. Not a fan of it at all. Gutted. I remember when that fight happened, how disappointed I was. Me and my friend Casey, he's a good friend of mine, and we were just absolutely completely disappointed when that fight, that draw got announced. It was just so wrong. The problem is there's a 10-point must system, right? And under the 10-point must system, you judge it by rounds. Okay, and that's the boxing's creation of how they of how they judge a fight. If you go by that round by round, Fury wins that fight all day, and it's just the two knockdowns shouldn't have had that kind of a overall impact. That's terrible, man. It's just bad. Gary, bro, Dylan keeps struggling here. Might be Entice Wilder, bro. Oh, was Gary? Firstly, what's going on, Gary? Nice to see you, brother. Yeah, I agree. I agree. This might entice Wilder. We might see him as prime for the picking, but Wilder's got his hands full with Fury anyway. I don't think he needs to be thinking about anything outside of Fury right now. He's got to focus on Fury. If he can get past Fury, then he's got to worry about it. Got to be the worst robbery in modern combat sports history. I agree. It's got to be one of the worst robberies. I think there's been some terrible robberies in boxing overall. There's there's things that people will cry are robberies, and then there's things that are actual robberies. So first, one of the things that people cried about that was a robbery was the Joe Calzaghe versus Bernard Hopkins fight. That most certainly weren't a robbery. Joe Calzaghe won that fight, and then there's actual robberies like the one that we saw with Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Absolutely gutting to see, and arguably Callum Smith versus John Ryder. That was a very close fight as well. But yeah, there's some bad robberies going on. Tab Chan, Dylan White's gets popped right. Box pot noodles. Oh, I'm not going. I'm not going to respond to that. Joshua set the record. State 50 pound. Set the record. 50 pounder. Just my fish. Firstly, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the stream. If you got £50 on it, I really hope you don't lose your money. I hate to see anyone lose money. That's a rough bet in my opinion, especially when you look at that fight. That's not a stereotypically fluky performance. No, actually, Andy Ruiz was beating him to a punch. He was performing at a high level in that fight, and he was able to get the win over Joshua fair and square. I think it's hard to call that a fluke. So I think the £50 is at risk today. Be careful with that one. Who would win, Luis Ortiz or Andy Ruiz? That's a brilliant fight, brother. Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. That's a brilliant fight. I would say Andy Ruiz would enjoy strength on him, but I think Luis Ortiz will be the stronger and in a lot of ways more technically man. One of the things that Andy Ruiz doesn't do so well that a lot of people are overlooking is he doesn't move his feet so well. That's Michael Hunter. I'm a huge fan of Michael Hunter. He doesn't move his feet very well. Andy Ruiz plants his feet. He's got good head movement. He's got fast hands, but he doesn't move his feet well. And because of everything else he does do well, a lot of people overlook at the stuff that he doesn't do so well. I think Andy Ruiz would have opportunities to win that fight. I think Luis Ortiz will win that fight. If I was to make a pick now, based on what I've seen in their careers, I would probably lean towards Luis Ortiz as being the more complete boxer, more the stronger commodity of the two, more complete boxer. And I feel like he's just so intelligent with his boxing. Like anyone can get caught by Wilder and get knocked out. But I really rate Luis Ortiz very highly. A lot of people cuss him for being old. I don't give a shit if someone's 50, if they can 50 or 60. If they can box to the level that Luis Ortiz can, box until you're 50 or 60. I don't care. No, these top guys ain't fighting him. If Dylan White was looking like this against Luis Ortiz that fought Wilder, how do you think that will go for Dylan White? He'll get sparked unconscious. So Luis Ortiz deserves his respect. I would probably pick him in a fight with Andy Ruiz, but my opinion might change after tonight. Let's see what form we see from Andy Ruiz against Joshua tonight. Is going to be really, really interesting. ABMK21, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the stream. MMA judges aren't as corrupt as much as there's some incompetent judges in my. They're just some. Actually, it's the same judges that judge boxing and MMA, and that's part of the problem. Those guys, in a lot of the cases anyway, those guys are not MMA fans. They don't follow MMA. They're not educated on MMA. They don't know MMA the way, even as spectators that we know MMA. I'm trying to be more involved with MMA. I'm trying to, in some way, present myself as an analyst in MMA or have my channel. They don't know MMA the way we do, so that's why they are completely incompetent. I agree with you, and maybe the corruption isn't there to the level that. But with boxing, there's a history of corruption deep rooted into the game, into the boxing game, and that's absolutely great. Yeah, the side of his face is a point. Sorry, guys, I just responded to my brother. So yeah, that's a good point. Totally agree. ABA. I got 100 on Rosenstreich to KO over him in the first. You know what, Bradford lad? That's an interesting pick that you've made there. See, I haven't seen enough of Jairzinho to be able to pick him against Alistair Overeem. Now, I completely see why you would. Alistair Overeem's been knocked out multiple times. His chin may be short. He's fighting a young, big, strong heavyweight who's getting known for knocking out people. But the problem I have is this is a dude who's had 9 professional mixed martial arts fights, and his best win in MMA is a short Andre Arlovski. Now, Alistair Overeem in a lot of ways, yeah, he is shot as well. I guess his chin's not what it used to be, and not that it was ever great. But we got to remember with Alistair Overeem, there is a truth to the situation with Alistair Overeem that he's a well-rounded fighter, and whilst he has been knocked out, he's probably one of the most mentally strong and durable athletes that I've seen, because he'll get knocked out and look like he's completely dead and gone, but then he'll rebuild himself. He's a well-rounded fighter, and as we've seen against guys like Stefan Struve, Sergey Pavlovich, he's actually down to take fighters down. So it all depends on what on what route Alistair Overeem chooses to go in this fight, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Alistair Overeem does, or the game plan that he employs. If he stands up with him, leaves himself open to there, or panic wrestles, yes, he will get knocked out. But you know what? I really like you, bro. You're my boy. I really hope that you don't lose your 100 pounds. I'd rather I be wrong than you lose 100 pounds on this. I'm fingers crossed for you, man. Tab Chan, you got to fight strike. You die if you don't win. I don't know what that means, bro. I think Ortiz should have beat Wilder. I agree. I think Ortiz should have beat Wilder. I think after putting on such a beautiful performance for 6 rounds, and in a couple of those rounds, he actually put a beating on Wilder. For him, Dana White was in trouble. For him to get caught by that one punch, it just done him a disservice. I was heartbroken for Luis Ortiz. It done him a disservice that he got caught by that punch, and it would have been nice to see him come through and just hold tight and just get it done. But yeah, I agree with you. ABMK21. Yeah, man, MMA judging is different. You need better judges because there's a lot more going on in them. But absolutely, there's so much going on in an MMA fight that just doesn't happen in a boxing match, and that's why you need a competent authority to be able to judge accurately what's going on to the correct degree. So, like for example, the guard game. How does a boxing spectator or boxing judge understand the guard game? There needs to be specific training on it. Honestly, unless you've got some kind of a passion for mixed martial arts or martial arts in general, you shouldn't even be allowed to judge the fight. You shouldn't be allowed to be involved or have any kind of platform in the sport if you don't have a love for it. Like that's flat out. It's just correct. Imagine having I don't follow football. Imagine having a referee in football that knows nothing about it. It don't make no sense. It's just really, really poor, and that's one of the things that I wish MMA would do better, is the officiating of it, and judging is most certainly a part of it. Boxing MMA 365. If Andy wins tonight, there is no chance of Wilder Fury next, bro. Call it a feeling. Even though the contract is signed, there's ways around it. You reckon so? So the fight is signed and agreed. I know you got some good insights and stuff, so I'll be very interested to have you elaborate on that a bit more. I feel like the fight signed has been announced. They've both put themselves out there. I feel even reputationally they've got a moral obligation, or a fan-based obligation to make that fight happen now after announcing it, signing it. It's on BoxRec. They've both made a point to put that fight out here. Mr. S, yeah, call him Mr. S. Firstly, welcome to the stream. Thank you for dropping by. What did you think about the pre-fight, the first fight, or did you show you? So okay, so I'm reading your question as you're asking me about what did I think about Andy Ruiz pre his first fight. So I knew who Andy Ruiz is. I knew about him from the Joseph Parker fight, and I was talking to some of the guys earlier. I was hoping that him and Tyrone Spong would have been matched up, but then both got matched different ways. Spong tested positive for steroids, which is heartbreaking for me. But I actually was well aware of Andy Ruiz and his skill set. I've been a huge fan for Andy Ruiz. I actually scored the fight off against Joseph Parker for Andy Ruiz. Now, Andy Ruiz, he has his faults. A lot of people are just seeing him as this incredible, unstoppable boxer now because of what he's done to Joshua, and obviously Joshua was the star in boxing. But prior to that first fight, and even now it remains true, there is some truth with Andy Ruiz's game, and that's firstly, he's got great head movement, and he's got fast hands, he's durable, very skillful boxer, but his feet they don't move as well as they should, particularly considering he's a shorter heavyweight. Problem is he's a bigger heavyweight. He's shorter and bigger, so it's kind of like the Mark Hunt effect. But I've always rated Andy Ruiz as being a top tier boxer. I've always thought he's got tons of skill. The problem with boxing is tons of corruption and politics. Guys don't like to fight the best guys unless there's a belt on the line or significant amount of money, and that impacted Andy Ruiz. Being able to get the fights, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's got the big fight and he's able to show himself. So yeah, I've always respected Andy Ruiz. Jairzinho isn't just power; he has a lot of skill. I think he's 78 in kickboxing. I can actually see him being the next big thing at heavyweight. Yeah, that's right. He's a very decorated. He's a very decorated kickboxer. He's got tons of credentials there, and and I definitely rate him for that. So on the feet, I would definitely pick him to get the stoppage of Alistair Overeem at this stage. The problem is in MMA, does he have the ground game that Alistair Overeem has? And Alistair Overeem has a somewhat decorated ground game. He's actually won Europeans and championships in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So Alistair Overeem is a very good, well-rounded fight. Imagine having a ref in football that doesn't understand the game. You just explain 95% of all football matches, bro. See, I just would not have known that. But see, that even that to me is completely unacceptable, man. There's no way that it should be appropriate or acceptable in any way, shape, or form that they're gonna allow people to officiate a sport or a match in any way, shape, or form where they just don't understand it. Or there's got to be tests for this shit. Let me do the judging. I'll become an MMA judge, no problem. And I'll always be fair and call it down the middle. That's what I try to do anyway. This is a effing close fight. Yeah, it was a brilliant. It was a. Okay, I want to be careful with my words here. I'm going to be a politician now. This political situation in the UK, and I work in governance, so I'm going to be a politician now. So you guys will recognize that. This was a good fight to watch, but I am disappointed in Dillian Whyte's performance. So, whilst the fight may have been exciting, I rate Dillian Whyte very highly as a top tier fighter and consider him to be a threat to Deontay Wilder. A performance like this, he's a threat to no one. He would have a tough fight with Dave Allen at this stage. There is no way that he should have come out and had a performance like this. This is completely appalling. Now we're in the 10th round, and the rings, the commentators have him 5 rounds ahead, but that's just not good enough with a guy who's lost 3 fights in a row, is 40 years old, and is known as a cannon fodder. It's a poor performance. Wallen Lotley Drama, what's happening, my brother? Nice to see you about. Thank you for dropping by my stream. That's my boy right there as well. And he's just simply got woo to say. Ric Flair style. Tab Chan, in Kung Fu, you need to be mastering Kung Fu. Well, actually, if in Kung Fu they've got masters judging it, I think that's the correct way to follow it. So So you're a kung fu enthusiast, I'm guessing. So Muslim Salikov, he's a MMA fighter, has moved over to the UFC now. He's known as the King of Kung Fu. What's your thoughts on him? I'll be interested to know your thoughts on Muslim Salikov. Is Ruiz AJ next on next? No, it's not on next. It's Alexander Povetkin versus Michael Hunter is on next. That's a brilliant fight, though, brother. I don't know if that's next. I know that's the co-main event. There might be another fight here, but that's a brilliant fight right there, brother. Michael Hunter is one of the most underrated heavyweights in the game. He lost to Alexander Usyk at cruiserweight. Alexander Usyk being obviously we all know and love Alexander Usyk, is one of the widely regarded greats in boxing right now. He's come up to heavyweight. He's gone on an absolute tear. He's beating guys like Fabio Maldonado. That don't constitute a tear, but that's a good win. But he also beat Martin Bakole. Martin Bakole is a good British heavyweight that I really like. You got Hunter to win. I definitely got Hunter to win. Hunter's going to win this fight. Wallen, what did you think about Ruiz coming in at 285, 283? Wallen, I was actually pretty disappointed in that, to be fair with you. To me, I don't know if that demonstrates a lack of discipline. In my opinion, it does. Maybe he feels like the weight's going to help him, but I'm not happy. I'm not happy that he's done that. I don't think that was the way to go. I know that he's a dude that carries fat on him generally anyway, but he done well in the last fight. Yes, he should have made changes to his game plan, but in terms of how he was physically, I thought he was where he needs to be coming into that fight. I felt like that was the correct weight for him. Even if he came in the same, I would have been cool. There was all this talk about him slimming down. I don't necessarily feel like he needed to slim down, but he definitely didn't need to put on a fat. Let's call it for what it is. You got Hunter to win. Yep. Hunter to win. Definitely. Want to know something mad, bro? People on this might not believe me, but you will. I do want to know, bro. Drop it. I think it's a smart move. He will still have the power and speed advantage, and surely the power. That's what some people are saying to me. So my friend was telling me maybe getting fat is going to help him, and that fatter is going to help him, and maybe it's going to help him carry more power. I just wonder if it's going to impact his smoothness with his hand, if it's going to impact his ability to compete at the highest level the way I would expect him to coming into this fight. I suppose the fight's going to show, and the fight's going to speak for itself. Dillian Whyte just finished the fight. What a poor performance by Dillian Whyte. But yeah, I'm not sure. We're going to see. I'm disappointed. I would have liked to have seen him gone the other way, but let's see what happens. They've both obviously done opposite things coming into this fight, so I'm very, very, very interested and excited by this fight, and I just cannot wait to see it play out. It's one that I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, fatter. Damn right, he's going fatter. So true. How could it not affect his speed of movement? It has to. Like, he'll definitely still have a hand speed advantage over Joshua, even if he's slowed down. So that's definitely true. Yeah. But there's no way that, considering he carries weight already, carries fat already, there's no way that he's going to come into this fight not being slower than he already is. I'm struggling. I hope I'm wrong though. Tab Chan, Salikov is loved like he is Chinese. So see that don't surprise me because he's got, what's his record, like 183 wins and 20 losses in Kung Fu. He's he's very very well decorated in Kung Fu and kickboxing. The king of Kung Fu for a reason. I actually like Muslim Salikov a lot. I Kung Fu since baby. So you've trained Kung Fu since. Bro, be real with me, yeah. Are you actually from Hong Kong or wherever it is that you say you're from? I just need to know this. Gonna exaggerate that footwork, huh? Yeah, I think it will plant him down, and it's just gonna be let's see how that one plays out. It's definitely not going to help his footwork, brother. It's not going to help his footwork. Do you think he might have loaded his clothes with the throw of AJ? I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. I read a funny thing was that he was hiding a pack of Snickers underneath it, and that's why he weighed in so heavy. I don't think so though. I honestly think he's just put on that much weight. He, yeah, and Snickers did give him a lifetime supply of Snickers. Thank you for dropping that out to me, bro. So maybe that's going to impact him. Have you seen the UFC have released Barao? Unbelievable the way he went from. Oh man, I know this was meant to be a pre-boxing discussion, but let's talk about Barao for a second, man. So I just done a video on Johnny Hendricks and how much weight and how poorly he's dropped. But Renan Barao, you had the dude that was discussed as the pound for pound best in the world, a guy that everyone was saying is the Floyd Mayweather of MMA, unstoppable, dropping guys. Funnily, I was never sold completely. I was a huge fan of Barao. I was never sold completely. And then when I saw the Eddie Wineland fight, I thought to myself, you know what, Cruz will get him. Anyways, he was great, 31-1. Loses TJ Dillashaw and absolutely plummets. His career went downhill. Lost what, 5 fights in a row right now. You know what? I'll be honest with you, Bradford lad. I'm happy I'm happy he's been released from the UFC. It doesn't look like he's a UFC caliber anymore, and it's heartbreaking to see. Maybe it's not fighting that he needs to be doing right now. Maybe he just needs to take some time to reevaluate what he wants to do and find passion again. He hasn't looked like the same fighter in a long time, and I wouldn't mind seeing Barao take some time to rediscover who he is and really come back at some stage in MMA and maybe try to piece it together. Look, he won a world championship. He can retire today and be very proud of everything that he achieved. He's got to be in that discussion for one of the greatest bantamweights. I respect him, so yeah. That spinning kickoff, Wineland was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Especially considering Wineland was giving some trouble. And Wineland's a guy who I don't think gets his due credit. I think Wineland's a very good fighter, a very decorated fighter. He won a WEC championship once upon a time. He's a guy who's very unorthodox, and he's had his best time prior to the WEC merger with the UFC. But I really like Wineland, so let's not forget about Wineland. It's a guy that deserves some respect. Fury will not fight AJ until he's at least fought 3 more fights, 100. If he beats Wilder next, don't matter because he's not fighting AJ on his top rank contract. He has 3 fights left on it. Okay, so he won't fight. He won't fight AJ on his top rank contract. That's the thing about boxing that hurts boxing, bro. Bullshit like this. The Ali Act is meant to make sure that these fights can happen. Obviously, it's meant to protect the fighters as well. But it's just bullshit, man. It's bullshit because these guys. There's always so much politics going on. It's just mad. Is Barrao's undefeated streak the longest ever in MMA? I think it was 33. He lost his debut and got to 33. Yeah. No, I think it was 32. There was a no contest in there somewhere, so it weren't considered a continuous streak. But I do think that's the longest streak. Somewhere along the line, I remember seeing that there was this. What about Igor Vovchinchin? What was Igor Vovchinchin's winning streak? I think Igor had a pretty damn long winning streak. One of you guys can check that for me real quick. That would be appreciated. I think Igor Vovchinchin might have given him some run, but I think overall, Renan Barrao's might have been, especially the high level win streak. I think it's Renan Barrao. Remembering what he'd done and that win streak, it's mad. It's mad. I actually remember when Renan Barrao took out Brad Pickett in London. It's mad. It's mad. Absolutely mad. But guys, so Dylan White just had his fight, and I kind of want to talk about this real quick. He comes off his steroid suspension and all the shadiness that was coming off. At this point, what he should have been doing with all the eyeballs on him, he should have been in the best shape of his career to prove to people, look, I ain't on juice. I'm being extra tested right now. Look at me, I'm clean. Instead, he comes in looking fat as ever and has a tough fight with a gatekeeper of a journeyman fighter and nearly loses the fight. That was a really, really poor performance. I'm really disappointed. I'm a huge Dylan White fan, and that's really not the way I would have wanted this fight to go. Actually, very disappointed that that's the way that this has gone, and I hope not. I hope that weren't the case. But you know what? Disappointing for Dylan White. Hopefully, he steps back on here. He takes it a bit more seriously next time, and I look forward to seeing a better Dylan White when he comes back. Be right back. See you soon, bro. Igor is a guy that doesn't get his due. Just checked. He had 41 fights unbeaten, including one no contest. Look at that. Igor Vovchinchyn is absolutely insane. See, Igor Vovchinchyn is one of them guys that will never get his due credit because he was around before the explosion of mixed martial arts. Igor Vovchinchyn, for those of you guys who don't know, he was a guy who done tons and tons of great stuff in the early days of mixed martial arts, was hugely recognized over in Japan. He had what Bradford Ladd just confirmed for me, a 41 fight unbeaten streak. And then, he fought some of the best fighters of all time, and he retired pretty damn young. Mr. S, take care, brother. Thank you, man. I hope to be seeing you around again soon, man. Igor Vovchinchyn. I might actually do a video talking about Igor Vovchinchyn and how he should be remembered. Talk about that a bit more, and just give him some love. Give him some love that he deserves, and remembering him. It's there's so many great unsung heroes of mixed martial arts that just don't get remembered the way they should. Like I see a comment the other day, someone talking about Kazushi Sakuraba and talking about how he's got 16 losses, so he's actually a bum. Hold that shit, man. Hold it. Do some research, learn the sport, and get to understand what's going on a bit more. If you're gonna look at guys like Kazushi Sakuraba, Ken Shamrock, I suppose BJ Penn after what BJ Penn's done to himself, Randy Couture, the guys from the early days of mixed martial arts, and say, oh, he's got X amount of losses, so he was a bum. You really don't understand the sport, and you don't really understand their accomplishments for what it was. It's kind of sad that some of these guys stuck around for. That's the modern casuals for you, expecting boxing records. Yeah, exactly. They're expecting boxing records. They're expecting. The difference is Randy Couture in his fourth fight was fighting in the finals of a UFC heavyweight tournament. Meanwhile, you had Julio Cesar Chavez, who's a guy that I really respect, was 56-0 when he was fighting a guy that was probably making his debut. Padding building up that record. It's just completely different the way it comes across. Records are irrelevant. I've never been someone that thought to myself, oh, you lost one fight, so you're completely lost. Look at the biggest stars in MMA right now, actually. George Masvidal comes to mind. He's got 13 losses, bro. George Masvidal's got 13 losses. Who cares? Well, I'm worried about George Masvidal's form now and how he's doing in the game and how he's holding it down and everything that he's doing to represent himself and showing the world just how good he is. George Masvidal is no doubt one of the best in the world. So yeah, those casuals that are just holding that fort and just worrying about records, there's so much more that goes into mixed martial arts. You can't just be focusing on the record. But the AJ fight is building up. I'm getting some excitement coming along now. I can't wait. I'm gonna write out my scorecard and have it ready for that. And yeah, man. No, guys. So I'm thinking about doing getting back into doing stream. Those of you guys who've been around my channel a little while, you guys know that I used to do stream every Sunday. But I think I'm gonna go back to doing a weekly stream. I really enjoy it. It's like a nice catch up with you. It's like catching up with friends, to be honest with you. I take this time to read all your comments and just address it, talk to you guys. It's nice outside of the video format. You know what I mean? There's only so much that we can discuss when we're talking about it in like a comment section. But I'm definitely looking forward to bringing back the streams. And I think going forward, I'm going to try to do at least one stream a week just so that we can catch up. Honestly, it's just an hour. It's not that taxing. It kind of stopped after I got married, and my plan was always to bring it back, but I got super busy, and my brother just walked past saying it's because my wife beats me. Yeah, my wife beats me secretly. That's what happens. Kairos MMA, what's going on, brother? Congratulations on the 1K, brother. Thank you, my man. The 1K it's congratulations to all of you guys. All of you guys. This is like a big old family. It's like an extended version of my friends. All of you guys. The amount of positivity that I'm surrounded by in you guys, the amount of intelligent discussion I have with you guys. This is my break from, you know, I'll be a little bit real right now. So I work 2 jobs. I work Monday to Friday, my main job. Then I got a part-time job on the side, and I work very, very hard. Early morning, late nights is very hard, very technical, very numbers based, and it's not necessarily my passion. This is my passion. Talking MMA and breaking down fights. This is my passion. This is my love. This is what I do. This is me. But when I started on this journey, I had absolutely no knowledge, no idea of how to grow a channel, how to do any of this. I'd never had been on any social media. I was just going to talk about fights and put up videos of me sat down. I've gotten better at it. I got better at delivering it, and it's you guys that have kept me motivated and encouraged to do it. Now I see this as all of our channel. It's not just my channel, guys. This is our channel, and this is a channel that I want all of us to be involved in. And any feedback you guys give me, I take on board. I want to be able to deliver the best thing for you guys. And my channel's small, I only hit 1K, but this is my passion. I love doing this. I love doing this. I love the interaction. It brings me happiness. It gives me a break from the day-to-day technical grind, from the commuting, the London, the tubes, all of that stuff. Every little part of that, all those little, intangible stuff that you can't really explain. It gives me a break from everything. It gives me an opportunity to do something I love and share it with people that are great, positive people that bring positive energy to my life and bring positive energy to the world of mixed martial arts properly. And I believe that my comment section is one of the most engaged, and I'm really, really proud about it. And then in the new year, I've actually going to be stepping up my comment big time. So actually, I'll give you guys a little announcement now. Now that I'm here doing this live stream, I'll give you guys a little bit of an announcement. One of my good friends, he's going to be helping me with my channel from January. Well, that's the plan right now. Obviously, you never know what happens in life, but the plan is right now he's going to be helping me with the channel. He's going to be doing all the editing. So I've downloaded, purchased proper high level editing software, and now he's going to be doing all the editing. So in the new year, where you're going to see a much higher caliber of content quality as the channel grows. Hopefully that should help out as well. So thank you guys for the 1K. Thank you guys for everything you do. Thank you guys for everything you bring, all the positive vibes and energy you guys bring around me. So I really appreciate it. Hashtag bring back the streams. They're coming back, bro. Coming back. I'm really enjoying this, so I'll bring it back next week, bro. We'll get back to the streams. Wallin, I'm hoping AJ's crazy fast stays on the outside, works his jab and body shots right away. That's going to be the best move for AJ if he's on his toes, pumping out that jab from far and away, and staying out of not getting into firefights, not trying to prove an ego point by being there and getting into those wars. As long as AJ is not doing that, he's going to do really well. He's got to be really smart about how he approaches it, but that's what he's really got to do. So where does Ruiz fit into this if he wins again? If Ruiz wins again, he's done with Anthony Joshua, okay? Anthony Joshua is done. At that point, we start looking at next contenders, all right? We know that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder are tied up. They're going to be fighting each other, okay? We know that's happening. So what that brings to me is who's next. Now, Michael Hunter is doing his walkout right now, and you're right, this is a hell of a cringy walkout. I don't know what's up with that in boxing. But the winner of this fight could be a potential option for Andy Ruiz if Andy Ruiz wins again. Alternatively, he takes some time off and waits out the winner of Wilder and Fury, hoping that there's not a trilogy fight. There's Dillian Whyte in the mix. Dillian Whyte, if he can get himself back in shape and back in some form, that could be a potential fight. And Andy Ruiz versus Dillian Whyte is a brilliant fight to me that I really want to see. Derek Chisora, that's Michael Hunter, is coming out of the Predator. Derek Chisora is fighting Alexander Usyk for the WBO title, because the winner of Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua is going to be stripped of the WBO or the IBF. But they'll probably end up electing to fight Kubrat Pulev. So Alexander Usyk versus Derek Chisora is probably going to be made for the WBO world title. So whoever wins that, Andy Ruiz, I suppose, could fight the winner of that. And then there's Kubrat Pulev. So there's options for Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, if he wins this basically the WBO has ordered that Alexander Usyk's the mandatory. So I'm just explaining the same thing to my brother now, guys. The WBO has ordered that Alexander Usyk's the mandatory now, yeah. And but the problem is there's also an IBF mandatory, which is Kubrat Pulev, who's been mandatory for about 2-3 years now. So with that said, and that being the case, what will happen after this fight is they're going to have to make a decision on which way they go, and one of the belts is going to be stripped. So what's probably going to happen is they're going to go to fight Kubrat Pulev, and then the WBO is going to become vacated, and Alexander Usyk and Derek Chisora will fight for that It's a world title fight, so then there'll be another heavyweight champion at that point. Okay. The walkout, yeah. Does Usyk possess a genuine threat to the heavy? I think Usyk does. I think the skill level that Alexander Usyk brings into the game. He's small. The problem is he's small, and I didn't think he looked particularly impressive when he was fighting Chaz Witherspoon. But I understand that was there's some variables to that. Firstly, his first ever heavyweight fight, last minute opponent change. He's trying to get the rounds and he hasn't been particularly active, so maybe there was a lot of stuff. But I actually like Alexander Usyk at heavyweight. I think he can do well, so it's going to be very interesting to see how he does. I also heard a rumor that Tony Ferguson pays hookers with Bitcoin. I don't know what to say about that, bro. That's a weird and interesting rumor if that's what he heard, but I'm guessing you didn't actually hear that. Look at this lad. For fuck's sake, Hunter. Yeah, I know it's ridiculous. This cringy ass walkout, but Povetkin's coming out now. He's representing Mother Russia. Actually, no, I'm not a hardcore boxing fan, so I never heard of him until he fought Bellew. Yeah. That was really his come out. I'm really glad that the Bellew fight happened. I actually really like him. I really like Bellew, man. I would have liked to have seen Bellew win that and go. Well, actually, I think that, Bellew should have gone out after he took out David Haye. I'm so glad he took out David Haye. Bellew's such a great guy. David Haye irks me the wrong way in so many ways. But you know what? It's irrelevant. He was a better boxer regardless, and he won. So that's the main thing, right? The boxing walkouts are so exaggerated. It's ridiculous. It's pretty funny, but yeah, it's funny, man. I'm really looking forward to this fight. But guys, I'm going to be looking to wrap up soon because I want to sit back and enjoy the Michael Hunter fight. Any last questions? Any last thing that anyone wants to say before I look to head off? But okay, before I do that, firstly I want to say thank you to all of you guys who tuned in. Thank you for getting involved in the conversation and making this as engaged as possible. These streams won't be as great if they weren't as engaged as possible. But so thank you for all of you guys jumping in, chiming in, and giving me stuff to talk about. I really appreciate that. But as there's no more question, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna go and watch the boxing. Feel free to comment on any of my videos if you guys wanna chat about any of the fights going on. I'll reply to your comments straight away, and we can catch up there, ask what's going on, and we can talk about the fights as they're happening. Regardless, anyways, guys, have a great night. Oh, also, if you want to catch up, feel free to message me on Instagram. We can have a conversation on there. Direct message me. It's cool. All you guys use my homie so we can talk about the fights as they're going on. So thank you guys. Have a great night. Enjoy the fights, and thank you for watching and tuning in, man. Thank you.